This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to the Pit Stop, where you are the real star of today's show, because we are here to talk about sim racing news, and without you, the pit crew, we would have nothing to talk about. So, I'm going to start things off today completely un-sim racing related, and I've seen you guys, your comments, already talking about it, my thumbnail, and a big story here, and just to give you a little background on myself before we get to what I'm talking about here, is that I'm a pretty big fan of outer space and the whole exploration concept. And when I was a kid, I actually used to go to Edwards and watch the space shuttle land when they first, in the early days, it actually landed here in California. And then they started landing it in Florida. But I actually went to a few shuttle landings, and I've just always been a big fan. And yesterday was a pretty monumental day for everybody, really. Yesterday, what we saw was the Falcon X from SpaceX taking off. And this is the biggest rocket to ever launch. Less horsepower, if you really want to be technical about it, than the space shuttle. But as far as just a straight-up rocket goes, this thing is as big as it gets. And what's incredible about it isn't just launching a rocket into space. That's pretty everyday business. But it was quite the spectacle. But in addition to that, they also managed to land these things. And this just shows you the world we're in now. And they, in tandem, landed the two booster rockets perfectly next to each other at the same time. It was, I mean, I can't even believe here we are in 2018. In some ways, we seem so advanced. And in some ways, we seem so primitive. But this is just a state of where we are. And it's a new world. You know, it's a changing times. We're at a really interesting time, and I think of my lifetime, and I saw a lot of early change, then we kind of went into a lull, and it just seems that things have started to really accelerate. And the finish to the story is that he launched his Tesla, and I know you all know this, but to me it's just fascinating and funny at the same time. Oh, I had it queued up, and now it's... Where is his car? Come on. Show me the car. Anyway, Elon Musk sent his personal Tesla in the capsule. I don't know how they got the weight. There it is. There is a Tesla Roadster orbiting the Earth before it blasts off on a mission to orbit Mars, I believe is the end destination of the car. Anyway, now we got it car-related at least. So, my hat's off to mankind. My hat's off to SpaceX and Elon Musk for really pushing things. And I have to admit, I watched it live, and I got goosebumps, and I got a lot of pride in what we, mankind, human beings, can do. So, anyway, that's my little thank you to them for making my day yesterday. Now let's get back to the straightforward sim racing news, and I don't have a lot. Here we are, Wednesday, it's hump day! Got my race room shirt on today, just giving them a little bit of love, but looking at WRC, they've announced round 2, stage 2 to be more correct in the world of Rally Deutschland, and if you want to get into that competition, it begins on the 8th, tomorrow. So, I meant mankind, humankind. I've heard both, John, but I heard it was actually going to orbit Mars, is what I heard, and that we'd be able to see something similar to this view, but it being Mars is what I heard. So anyway, tomorrow starts that up. If you want to get out there and do some WRC fun. And I think that's another thing we're going to start covering more and more on the Pit Stop is where can you have fun? What leagues are starting up? What series? What competitions? We're always going to keep our eye on that kind of stuff as well, just so you guys can have things to go do. And one of these days, someone's going to win a trophy, and they're going to send me a picture and say, I found out about the WRC Deutschland rally, and I won. Next up, it's been a little quiet out of Fanatec for a while as we wait on their DD wheel. But they did just put out a video showing how to make paddle adjustments to get them just right. So, it's not a tough thing to make this adjustment if you know the Fanatec, especially on the formula shifter. But it's nice to see them doing some tutorial videos for their products. So maybe this is something that we'll see more and more of out of Fanatec. You know, maybe things like even, you know, how to tighten the screws so your belt doesn't slip or some of that kind of stuff. TT Isle of Man, we teased it yesterday with that Formula E bike, but they have another one of these 360-degree views. And again, I'm sure if you're a aficionado of TT Isle of Man, you know exactly where this is. There are a few things better than watching a superbike fly down this suburban hill, is what they say. So, still licking my chops to get a copy of that. This was sent in to me by one of you guys. Thank you very much. And Assetto Land. I don't know if it's legit. I don't know if it's not legit. But I do know they have a lot of mods here. So you have a list by manufacturer of 1 million different makes of car. And so if I were to just pick something, let's pick something at random. Fine, Bentley. So here are some Bentleys that they have downloadable for Assetto Corsa. And you can see there's a huge variety. Far more Bentleys than I ever imagined there were for Assetto Corsa. And again, they have just a ton of brands. Let's pick another one. I don't know Lada all that well. I know the name, but I don't know their lineup very well. Oh, nothing at Lada. Mac Corp, those are modder guys. Nothing there. Mazda. There we go. Cool RX-7. And a Mazda 3, look at that. Oh, it's a Speed. I was going to say, that's my car. Mine's not a Speed. Anyway, that's something you might want to check out. Oh, look, check it out. Datsun. I did look at this one earlier. Come on, give me Datsun. Look at the 510. Gotta love it. Got to love it. A little too slammed to the ground for my liking. But, nonetheless, Assetto Land is something you're going to want to know about if you're an Assetto Corsa fan. No 240Zs. Cool article. This is at sportscoaster.com talking about the Appalachian State Appalachian State College houses one of Stock Cars Racing premier collections. And they have an entire collection available to be, you know, number one, to preserve the sport, and number two, in order for people to be able to do research on NASCAR. But they have the Richard Petty collection, Raymond Parks collection, I mean, old school names, G. Wayne Miller collection. So it's actually a combination of a bunch of things supplied by a bunch of different people, and all there just kind of keeping NASCAR history in the books for us. So that's kind of cool, racing related. Millennial Esports. We saw their acquisition of, what was it, Eden Games. They also are owners and operators of Ideas and Cars. And this is a group that is getting more and more positioning when we're talking about the world of esport and who are the big players going to be. This company, Millennial Esports, every day is coming up on the radar as making different various acquisitions and changes in their company structure in order to position themselves as one of the premier esport worlds. And they just got the coveted, never heard of it, coveted AVA Digital Platinum Award. And that award cements Millennial's position at the forefront of the biggest story in motorsports right now, virtual racing. So this is a company that we are going to have to really stay on top of and see where they're going and what they're doing and get out there. Next up, this is just an article. It's just talking about a bunch of discounts and things. And Grand Theft Auto, it's got auto in the title. One of my favorite driving games out there. I would do a Monday fun day with Grand Theft Auto, but you guys would see a side of me that I don't know if I'm even comfortable you seeing. And I'm pretty open with the live streams, but man, this game will change your personality. Anyway, big deals on Grand Theft Auto content. Beyond that, I talked about telling you where you can go play, where you can go compete, have fun. We've talked about various different leagues in GPVWC, and they are opening up their 2018 World GT Series. Sepang, Bathurst, Suzuka, Road Atlanta, Monza, Silverstone, Spielberg, Spa, running a combination of the GT3 cars. So I believe you actually need the GT3 Power Pack from R Factor. But Bentley Continental, Radical RXC Turbo, Callaway Corvette, Mercedes AMG, and McLaren 650S. So that could be a good place if you're looking for a series that's going to, you know, hold a tight rule set, give you good, strong competition where you can challenge yourself. Go check them out. This is an interesting article here talking about how video games become dangerously similar to gambling. And they talk about loot boxes. And So when we talk about legality, here's one of the things. In a lot of countries, the rules for marketing to children under 18 versus adults are different. And there are different, I mean, and it all starts with like tobacco and alcohol and things like that. But reality is, they know that kids are very impressionable. These loot boxes are basically presenting gambling to children. And since children are a big amount of the gaming community, it is relevant. So when they make articles comparing it to gambling, we talk about how loot boxes might be a thing of the past in gaming. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these days and as sim racers, it doesn't affect us very much for most of the sims we play. Maybe some of our diversion games. But this is something that I think you're going to see a strong pull. We talk about grid girls and public opinion, and I think what you're going to see is one or two dominoes falling on the loot box topic, and then it just becomes a thing of the past. Diversion games. Okay, here's a review on a game called Mad Carnage. And this is a Mad Max-inspired turn-based game. Or SRPG, to be more correct. And I can't even imagine playing a car driving type game where you move like chess or those type of turn-based games. But this could be a diversion game. Graphics aren't very impressive. Anyway, it made me laugh. Somebody sent it in. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And not a very good score, so I doubt we're going to be running out and doing it. But this could be a Monday Fun Day type game someday if we get really long on our list. Next up, this is an article that I didn't like. It's at PC Authority, and it says, "Not so fast and furious. Can driving games improve your performance on the track?" Reading the article, it sounds like the guy pretty much doesn't know how to drive very much, and he's using the remote play version of Sony, and he goes on to basically say it helped him sort of know how to handle a corner. So here we are, the hardcore sim racing community, and as I get through the last couple of stories, actually I only have one more thing to talk about, not a lot to talk about here today. I want to know, from those of you who have sim raced and then gone to a track or vice versa, I want to know, give me some straight points. Where do you think? I mean, because I disagree with this article adamantly. I think driving games can drastically improve your performance on the track if done right. You think about when I work with Mitchie and how serious we take our training sessions when we're working together and in my crew chief role. And we're going to do one of those today, by the way. But I think a lot of it comes down to how you use it. And, well, I'll give you a great example. Batting cages is a great way to, work on your swing for hitting a baseball. Now, it doesn't put you against a big league curveball pitcher, but it does allow you to work on your swing. But if you get in there and you're just trying to rip it as hard as you can, not working on your form, you're probably wasting your time. Same thing goes. If you're going to use sim racing to try to improve, you have to do it in a way that's laid out for you to have that improvement. And I think that it absolutely does. I mean, like, you think of my 2018 New Year's resolution of hitting apexes, as simple as that sounds. There you go, Ivan, exactly. Well, in a real car, what if I'm lazy as well? What if I hold myself to that same standard and I use sim racing to hold myself accountable for thousands of laps so that when I do get to the real life position, it'll be second nature for me, just like going to a batting cage. So anyway, I didn't like the article, but it is a good topic of discussion, so I thought it was worthy of bringing up, and it was sent in by the man, so thank you very much. Sent in by John Hill. This is actually at IndyCar, Verizon IndyCar Series. And it's actually one of the better recaps on the whole Rock Race of Champions event that went on, including some shots from our heroes, Enzo and Rudy. So if you want to see another video that kind of summarizes the whole thing in a cool, quick way, there's Enzo. It's definitely worth the watch, and you're going to want to go check it out. There he is doing the eSport competition. So, Yeah, exactly. It'll help you know the mechanics and like understand car balance and understand what front end load is versus rear end load, and be sensitive to certain moments. I mean, I heard it said some of these the hack guys who are actually broadcasting the ROC. I better pause this before they chop my whole channel down and take it away. But talking about how, you know, they go by the seat of the pants versus in sim racing we're waiting for the turning of the screen, so to speak. But I think once you get over that, you get back to where you start understanding the car balance and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. There you go, Howard. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think there's no denying just even the hand-eye coordination of the motion, the foot-eye coordination, of working with the pedals. I think all of that is really, really relevant. It's you know, thousands of laps, thousands of miles of practice in the same type of movement, the same type of activity. It is a simulation, absolutely. So anyway, that does take us to, yeah, look at Glenn McGee and what he did going from sim to a real life Mazda with very little time in a car like that, at that level, and there's no denying. So again, I'm going to go back to that topic of this article, and I'm glad I read it. I'm glad we brought it up, but I think that, you know, he's very wrong. He also then went on to talk about how you need a good internet connection because his remote play wasn't functioning correctly. It's like, man, you're looking at this all wrong. But anyway, thank you, Jonathan Bray, for the topic, and thank you, the man, for sending it in so we could all talk about it. Man's holding breath. See, that's something I could work on in sim to improve my real life track performance. I have the same problem of holding my breath in real life on the track. I used to do it in karting all the time. So if you did want to check out any of the stories in detail at thesimpit.com, which is in the link in the description of the show here, you will find that Tesla in the sky thumbnail, and if you go there, you will have a link to all the stories, including Assetto Land, if you want to go check that out. All the things we talked about are there for you. Beyond that, at 11 o'clock, so that's an hour and 45 minutes from now, I'm going to be working with Mitchie Hoyer, my crew chief extraordinaire, as I start to prepare for the Bathurst 12-hour on iRacing coming up this weekend. I know there are two different races, and I'm not sure which of the two we're running just yet, trying to figure that out. Trying to get everything and up to speed real quick because I'm behind the gun. Just a handful of days to get ready for another very important race. So today at 11, me and Mitchie will be working together. We'll be streaming that here on this channel. Tonight at 6 p.m., we will be doing our final Attack the Track of the season. I don't even have my graphic up, but we are going to be at Laguna Seca in those McLaren F1 GTRs. Right now, it looks like G. Outen is the leader so far with the best lap of 124.223. Info, another interesting name, 124.298. William Noel in third place in practice so far, 124.513. But tonight at 6 p.m. we will be doing that. And then tomorrow and Friday we will have our final races of this season. And then we'll be moving on to the DTMs for next season, which would be very, very cool. And looking forward to that as well. So that starts up next week. Beyond that, Wave Italy. I am just waiting on word from them. If you're a patron, you've already had access to this video as I wait for approval from Wave Italy to show the video to the world, but the team members have already seen it, and hopefully that will be out any minute. I mean, I should check my mail now. I'm literally just waiting on an email from them saying go for it, and as soon as they do, that video will be live. So lots going on here today at the Simpit. Got that stream at 11, got that stream at 6, got Wave Italy hopefully coming out today, and a lot more. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoy Wednesday, Hump Day, and I hope this is a great middle of the week for you. We'll see you tomorrow morning with another edition of the Pit Stop and tomorrow's Sim Racing News. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.